Good, glorious morning, everyone. Welcome to Cultivate Conscious Moments with Austin James Haynes. Let's do just that. Let's harness the most valuable, precious, extraordinary, exceptional gift that we have. I'll be right back. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, April 20th. My name is Austin James Haynes. I went from a 19-year employee with the same Fortune 500 company. I spent 21 years in sales. And in the middle of my best year, I walked away to answer the call of my soul. And the journey is unfolding in beautiful, unexpected, and miraculous ways. You can look at life in one of two ways. You can look at life as if nothing is a miracle, or you can look at life as if everything is a miracle. That was Albert Einstein. And I want to introduce you to the hourglass, the old school hourglass, which I know you've seen before. And by the way, I want to welcome you. We have LinkedIn and YouTube, and then we have TikTok live here. And I use the hourglass because for me, it's a beautiful reminder. Just look at the sand flowing through. It's almost just visually watching our perception of time flow through. And it's a beautiful reminder to be in the present moment. That is the most precious, valuable, extraordinary thing we have is right now. And this show is an invitation to step into that moment, to avoid the obsession with chase and race, strive and drive constantly, stressed to get somewhere else because we've somehow deemed where we are as flawed, unacceptable to us. We're resistant to it, and we have to get out of here. And we are. Many folks, include myself in this. I lived on a quota for 20 years, 22 years. No, sorry, 21 years, really, all told. And you're on a quota, you're constantly striving. Do we have enough achievement? Do we need more achievement? Let me ask you. Do we need more achievement in order to be fulfilled? There's the question. I would venture to say that achievement is part of fulfillment, but it's not fulfillment. And I think we've made the mistake in making achievement a fulfillment. And you don't need to listen to me. Just look at all the advertisement that we see. Everything's a majority of what you see is about money, achievement, fame, success, followers, high ticket coaching, all these things that are floating around. Let's make sure that we're living life, that we're dialed into this present moment. I'm going to read this poem. I do want to share this. This is a quote that I pulled out, and I definitely want to share this quote this morning because we really are honest here. Life is nothing but paradox. and polarity. And everything I say here could be a half truth based on some different perspective, based on a season, a moment. I just really love this quote. Don't spend time beating on a wall, hoping to transform it into a door. Don't spend time beating on a wall, hoping to transform it into a door. You're striving and driving. You want to get there, like I talked about, and you're just forcing it. You're running through it. You're trying to force a relationship. You're trying to force it on a job, but meanwhile, your energy and your soul is being sapped. Don't keep beating on the door or the wall thinking it's going to be a door. It's not. And there's the call to step into the present moment, discover what's most important to you. What's most important to you today? What's most important to you now? What's most important to you? I got a share coming through here. Hey, good morning, Kay. Worldly things, right? God created us perfect. Man has slowly marred his beauty. It's like, again, the paradox. It's like anything man gets a hold of, and I say man, humankind, but I say man because I just feel led to say man. Anything man gets a hold of, man will corrupt. But art and the beautiful things in this present moment show us the way home. Show us the way back to what we know to be true and authentic. It doesn't scream from the rooftops. Oh no. It subtly, silently sits and waits for the ego to play itself out. And when the ego has burned itself to the ground, the seedling sprouts, and then a beautiful flower blooms as a constant reminder of the renewing energy of life. That you can harm the physical body, you can harm the emotions, but there's just some part of you that you could never touch. There's some part of you that remains, that is integral, authentic, real. And the whole thing here, cultivate conscious moments. You're not as far off as you think you are to a fulfilled life. Pause and breathe. Let's just take a moment. Take a moment to, I say, give yourself the gift of this moment. Give yourself the gift this morning. I often say this. I've said this on the other show. If I had a magic device and I plugged the device in and it went around the world and it could miraculously measure, we could come up with a measurement of all humankind to see how they feel. So we took all the emotions of every single human and we put them all together. What emotion would it be? Is the world stressed? Is the world appreciative? Experiencing joy? What do you think it is? Let's see if we can get an answer here. We miraculously measure all humankind. We come up with an emotion. How does humankind feel right now? Stressed, anxious, joyful, appreciative, enthusiastic. What say you? What say you? Hopeless. So we got a comment here. So let's just get real here. I'm going to go with this, and I got a poem to share here, which I want to make sure this is what I'm going to be sharing here in a moment. How does the world feel right now? If you could measure everybody, you don't need me. Just tell me what you think. I have hopeless. I'm just going to pause and take a coffee break. This moment is brought to you by Four Sigmatic Coffee. Let the adventure begin. Really have to get them as a sponsor. That would be really cool. So how does humankind feel? So we have hopeless. If that's the case, then we know that people are stressed. And don't take my word for it. How do you feel on a weekly basis? We got Bluegrass 8264 coming in on TikTok. And I want to give a shout out to Kay, who you're going to be hearing from here in a moment about the poem. Everybody, how you feeling today? How are you feeling? Let's go back to you, and then we'll go back to the collective, and I'll keep this going. This is mostly unscripted today. I do this because it helps me trust my intuition. Because I used to be so stressed about having the answers. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and he was a sergeant. So he gave me an order. And if I messed it up, he would like publicly humiliate me. Not because he was mean, because he cared. He was being hard on me because he wanted me to be strong, but it didn't help. I had an inferiority complex from that and other things. And it caused me a lot of issues. Oh, bluegrass. Yeah. So we have bluegrass on here. Dad was a World War II vet. Wow. What division did he serve? I have a friend, John, who I'm going to call today. And John is going to be 99 in July, and he served in World War II. He was a Marine, and he's still going strong. He exercises every morning. He's a miracle. He's like a walking miracle. And just it inspires me because of if we do the right things and we love people, we love ourselves, we live in the moment, of course we have genetics, but I believe we can overcome those things and we can tap into something, but back to what I was saying. So I was saying that if we could miraculously measure the world and see how they were feeling, we got people that said that they would be feeling hopeless, upset, stressed. So my thing is, when you, whether you know it or not, you have your nervous system operates, and I'm going to grab your shares here. You got sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight, flight, or fright. So we're constantly on alert. You can tell by people the way they move. They're running around. They can't. And then there's parasympathetic, which is rest, refresh, digest. And if you want to live there, you need to cultivate conscious moments through breath. A simple nose breath, deep breath throughout the day. If you can take a couple minutes, great. But if you only have a moment, you're in the car, maybe before you start your car. Before I got on the show, I was running around this morning because I was a little bit late. And I just paused and I said, breathe deep through the nose, let the belly expand, lungs fill up. You pause, you're beginning to change your nervous system. Do you see this is so easy and it's missed? Because we complicate stuff. We somehow think that complicating it makes it more valuable. When I step on the trail I plant my foot in the moment. If I get ahead of my steps, if I don't plant my foot and anchor each step in the moment, I might get ahead of myself and I might trip on a rock. Plant yourself, plant your foot, just as you would plant your foot on the trail. Plant your consciousness in this moment. Plant it. We're not planting, we're constantly running and rolling. Let me grab these shares. He was anti-aircraft. Okay, so Bluegrass father fought in World War II. He was a anti-aircraft gunnery sergeant in the invasion of Okinawa. Wow. When did you I'm assuming he passed. When did he pass on from this earthly plane? Okay, my dad was a Korean War. He was born in 1922. Sometimes I feel like we need some of those old school values back. Because whenever we progress, we gain, we lose. We gain stuff, but then we lose stuff. But what if we could go back and take those valuable things? This was my lesson from my parents. My dad was uh, my dad had an alcohol problem, PTSD. My mom was clinically depressed. She's grown a lot. My dad passed in 2018, and I grew up with this flawed mentality that because of my parents, my life, everything was flawed. But then as I started to evolve, I started to say, I can love my parents because they're human, they're people. I forgive them. I love them. And then I said, well, look at the talents they have. So I could, there's a quote that says, every single person has gold within, but sometimes we need to dig through more to get to it. Every single person has gold within them, but sometimes we need to dig through more stuff to get to that gold. And perhaps you have some of that you've been putting up and as a block. Oh, he was 1994, he was 79. Okay. God bless his soul. Okay, I'm going to read this poem here and then we're going to wrap it up. We're doing an auction. I'll tell the story and we're going to put this together. We are. So this is a poem. Kay is on TikTok here. And this is her painting. So Janie Gibbons on TikTok. Got the glare here I'm fighting with, but this was a poem I wrote last autumn, and I'll tell you the story, and then I'll read the poem and share it again. My friend Candace was diagnosed with ALS 31 years ago. She was given 6 months to live. 6 months. She was given 6 months to live 31 years ago. She beat the odds. She's still alive. She's living her life. She's working. She just applied for a new job. She's got major health challenges still, but she works through it. But here's the thing. During COVID, she lost her previous job, went through her savings. She's being displaced from her home. And we're trying to raise money to help her get a new home, preferably handicap accessible or handicap can be added. Solomon said, give me a listening heart. I love that. Listen with the heart. Yeah. I wrote a little poem about that. Something like, when I listen with my heart, my ears go deaf. So Kay on here painted this bee on a sunflower, I think 2 years ago. And I wrote this poem last year, and we're donating it. We're going to auction it off for Candace, and the money is going to go to help Candace get a new home. So we're going to be planning this out. So let me read the poem to you. This is my poem, and then I'll show you Kay's painting again. It was just beautiful synergy. But right now, we're working to get traction to let people know about it. So that's what we're going to do. Once we launch the auction, we're going to let it run till the end of the month, and we're going to see if we can do it that way. That's what we're going to do. So, Kay, I'm not sure if you got my message, but we're going to meet tonight around 5, and then we're going to put a plan together. And then once we do the live broadcast, which I'll announce, the live broadcast will happen first, and then the auction will stay open. We'll market it so that people can find out about it over a couple weeks, 10 days or whatever. And then we'll run it till the end of the month, and it'll go to the highest bidder. So here it is. It's called A Bee in Autumn. Good morning, Jung. A bee in autumn. A late flower blooms. A solo traveler, sucking every drop of nectar, even though death looms. Blissfully present, oblivious to winter's specter. The more I read this poem, the more meaning it takes on for me. But here it is. That's the poem. And there's Kay's beautiful painting with the bee and the sunflower. That's a painting, everyone. Look at the detail on the bee. Really beautiful. And it's funny, when I read this, initially you might think, it's somebody who is up there in years and they're going to be dying, right? And that's what inspired this. I saw this bee and winter was coming, and maybe it was a worker bee got kicked out from the nest, just living its last days and just surviving. But not to be morbid, but to make friends with, we don't know. We're all a bee in autumn, every one of us. We have no idea. So why not suck every drop of nectar? Why not appreciate your situation and live in the moment as much as you possibly can? Why not cultivate conscious moments in your own life? It's as close or as far as you want it to be. Sometimes I think certain people enjoy getting lost in their mind and their story. There's a highlight I did a couple, if you look at my TikTok account, there's a highlight I did about this. Sometimes we feel certainty by following our own story or someone else's story, or like a victim. Maybe a victim, but maybe not a victim. Maybe somebody who just, I see what you're saying, but yeah, people live in their minds. Yeah, that they kind of go hand in hand, where you can feel like a victim. You can feel like that victim. You're telling your story over and over again. And this happened to me, and we label stuff. And we need labels. I try to use labels. I don't embody labels. We need labels. This is going on right at this point in time. But the unfortunate thing is, when we label something, everything in life dances, everything in life evolves. When we label it, we're trying to take something that's dynamic and making it static. Let's be liberated today. Find the liberation that's in you. It's the whisper. It's the whisper of the soul. And if you're going in a direction and you have a vision for yourself, that's a good thing. But make sure this moment is valuable. Make sure you find the value and the appreciation in this moment, and avoid this, right? Don't spend time beating on a wall, hoping to transform it into a door. What is soul? I got a question coming through. What is soul? So rather than me, I'm just going to look it up, the definition, and then I'll tell you. So the definition here, it's the spiritual or immaterial part of a human being or animal, regarded as immortal. They believe death is just one step in soul's journey through the universe. It can also be emotional or intellectual energy. Soul, you have soul, right? You got soul, vigor, or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art or an artistic expression. Does that make sense? Soul, to me, it's this all-encompassing energy, spirit. It's you. It's your energetic footprint that is a part of your physical. Merriam-Webster says the immaterial, I like this, the immaterial essence, animating principle or actuating cause of an individual life. The spiritual principle embodied in human beings, all rational and spiritual beings, or the universe. Okay, I'm going to end my live stream on YouTube. If you are on TikTok, I am inviting you to go over to YouTube and help me out. Go follow that account, because I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. If it's gone, if it shuts down tomorrow, at least you'll have the YouTube so we can stay connected. So go over to my YouTube. And if you're on LinkedIn, please go over to my YouTube and just follow Austin James Haynes. I'll show you what it looks like so you can follow along. I appreciate you being here today. Breath and body is soul. Well, I don't know if it is, but there's talk about it. They're trying to shut it down. This is my YouTube, or my YouTube channel looks like this. Cultivate Conscious Moments. So if you go over there and just subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. I am going to be building out a newsletter, working on that. But right now I'm working on moving and getting out of my lovely home. And thanks, Jung. Appreciate that. So I'm going to end the live stream here. I'll keep TikTok open so I can play some music. I'll give you an update on what I'm doing today too. So thanks everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn. This is Austin James Haynes, employee to poet, loving life, joyful, passionate about creating things that are going to feed your heart and soul. And here, be on the lookout for my upcoming book called Seeds of Infinitude this year. Here's what that looks like. Have a great day, everybody.